What if the world told you every single day you are less, you are unworthy, you are nothing? Would you surrender to that fate, or would you dare to rewrite it? This is the story of a boy born at the very bottom of India's caste ladder, a boy who was forbidden to drink from the same water, forbidden to sit in the same classroom, forbidden even to dream of equality. Yet, that boy became the architect of the Indian Constitution, one of the greatest minds this nation has ever produced. This is the story of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the man who turned oppression into wisdom, humiliation into strength, and injustice into a revolution of hope. Ambedkar was born in 1891, in a time when the caste system wasn't just social, it was law carved into daily life. He belonged to the Dalit community, called the Untouchables. The very word carried poison. As a child, he wasn't allowed to sit on the same bench as other students. He couldn't touch the water pot at school. Someone from a higher caste had to pour it for him, as if his touch would defile it. Imagine being told at 10 years old, your existence is pollution. But young Bhimrao had something no rule could crush, an unshakable hunger for knowledge. He read by the dim light of oil lamps. He listened to lectures while sitting outside classrooms. He studied not just with his eyes, but with his soul. While others mocked his ambition, Ambedkar held on to a truth few around him understood. Education is liberation. Every book he opened was a door. Every lesson he absorbed was a weapon against the chains of discrimination. With extraordinary effort and rare scholarships, Ambedkar went abroad to Columbia University in New York, and later to the London School of Economics. Picture it, a boy once barred from drinking water with others now walking the grand halls of the world's greatest institutions. But Ambedkar didn't study for prestige. He studied with a deeper purpose, to return home and fight for those who had been silenced for centuries. When he came back to India, the world hadn't changed. The caste walls were still high, the insults still sharp, but Ambedkar had changed. His mind was sharper than steel, his vision broader than the horizon. He began writing, speaking, challenging, not with anger alone, but with reason, with ideas, with unshakable logic. He told the oppressed, "You are not broken. You are not untouchable. You are human, and your dignity is not for others to grant. It is for you to claim." He fought against centuries of injustice, demanding the rights of Dalits, fighting for labor reforms, women's empowerment, and social equality. For the first time, millions who had been told to bow their heads began to lift them. In 1947, as India gained independence, Ambedkar was chosen as the chairman of the drafting committee for the new constitution. Think about it. The boy once denied entry into classrooms was now writing the very rules of the nation. The Indian Constitution became one of the most progressive in the world, guaranteeing equality, freedom, and fundamental rights for every citizen, regardless of caste, creed, or religion. It was more than law. It was Ambedkar's promise. Never again will a child be told he cannot drink from the same well. Never again will a girl be told her birth makes her less human. What does Ambedkar's life teach us? It teaches us that oppression can break your back, but it cannot break your will unless you allow it. It teaches us that education is not just about degrees. It is about dignity. And it teaches us that true change is not born in silence, but in the courage to question, to resist, and to rewrite the story handed to you. Experts in social psychology often say, human identity is not fixed, it is constructed. Ambedkar proved it. He took an identity forced on him and tore it apart, crafting instead the identity of a leader, thinker, and nation builder. And now, more than 70 years later, we must ask ourselves, what do we do with Ambedkar's gift? Because the caste system, though weakened, still lingers. Inequality still whispers in classrooms, offices, and homes. Ambedkar's story is not a closed chapter. It is an invitation for each of us to challenge the limits placed on us, whether by society, by circumstance, or by our own self-doubt. If he could rise from the ashes of discrimination, then what excuse do we have to abandon our own potential? So here is the truth. You are not defined by what the world calls you. You are defined by what you choose to become. Your starting point is not your destiny. It is only the soil where your roots begin. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was born into silence, but he refused to remain silent. He was born into chains, but he broke them. He was born an untouchable, but he touched the very soul of India. Here, his story moved you. Share this video with someone who feels trapped by their circumstances. Subscribe for more modern parables and stories that shift the way you see your life. And never forget, you may not control the story you were born into, but you can always control the story you write next. Final thought. Ambedkar did not just rewrote the destiny, he rewrote the destiny of an entire nation. And maybe, just maybe, your story is waiting for you to do the same.